Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74 and welcome to the community, welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you are seeing me, please consider liking and subscribing. We are real tech for real people. Today's video will be some 4K 120 FPS gameplay on the Xbox Series X being displayed on the Sony X90J full array local dimming mid-range model for 2021. Special thank you to Robert at Value Electronics for supplying the X90J for extended review. I will have this panel for as long as I need it, so don't be worried that I won't cover the subjects that you're looking for me to cover. And please put in the comments what you'd like to see on the Sony X90J, and I will do my best to oblige you. The Sony X90J is the successor to last year's very popular Sony 900H. Though I did not review the 900H, I had spent a lot of time with it. I do like the display very much. I do like this panel a lot. It is very bright. It is very vibrant. It reminds me much more of last year's Sony 950H. Now you were seeing some gameplay on Nuketown, on Black Ops Cold War. You will be seeing it at 4K 30. It was filmed at 4K 60, but in order to edit this and give you an explanation of the gameplay settings, the game mode settings I should say, as well as showing you how to enable 4K 120 on the Series X and within the Sony X90J. Here we are in the settings tab. Nearly every manufacturer has some kind of enhanced HDMI setting that needs to be turned on. Now you have external inputs. You can name them here. The Sony is very good at recognizing that there's a console attached to it. It does a good job of figuring that out, but you're going to find that typically in input format. You see it here. Now, what's interesting with the Sony, for those of you that don't know it, Sony cannot do HDMI 4K 120 and Dolby Vision at the same time. You will have to choose between the two. Enhanced format will be 4K 120 for gaming, but you will have to forego Dolby Vision, which could be tricky for those of you that are using your consoles as players. With streaming, you should be fine. So we had gone in, hit the advanced format without Dolby Vision. Now within the Xbox, quickly I'll show you within Cold War that 4K 120 is disabled. If you are switching between TVs, you have to go in and also redo this on the Xbox and within the game. Right there, 4K 60 is disabled. Before, this was connected to an LG CX. So I need to go back within the settings. You have to re-enable 4K 120, but also uncheck Dolby Vision within the Xbox settings and within the X90J settings. Now, if you do this while the game is also running, it will not take effect. You will need to go back in, close out the app, hit start, close out the app, reopen it. You don't need to turn off the console. And I will show you what that looks like later in the video. Now, the point of this video is to primarily show you game mode and show you how different game mode can look. Sony, in my opinion, is far and away, or at least has the best looking game mode out of the box. They don't have to have the lowest input lag or the lowest latency, but they do pride themselves on having the best looking mode. Showing you there that it's now enabled. This again is in HDR 4K 120. You will not see that because it is more of a discussion. I will shoot HDR footage and I will shoot 4K 60 so you can actually see the movement. But for this video, you'll have more discussion from me. First off, we're going to start off with this newest map. I wanted to show a snow map. As beautiful as OLEDs are, whites are very difficult, not just due to ABL, they just have a hard time showing you bright white, and it doesn't stay bright very long. They do push cool. The best part about an LED is being able to just go into a snow map and it is gloriously white. It is very clean. The screen uniformity on this panel is very good. Not sure what the contrast ratio is, but the image is three-dimensional. Blacks are very good. Where I've seen lately in the last couple of years with Samsung's panels is they are very bright, but they tend to be bright full blast. It almost looks like an IPS panel. The Sony does not look that way. It's very clean. It's very sharp. Now keep in mind that I've also been gaming on LG CX, both a 55 and a 77. And I still am pleased with this image. Now you're going to see me in every level that I show you within Call of Duty is the different gaming presets and the way you can change the image. I will show you that here. Now, when we talk about game mode or movie settings or whatever it is you guys want, don't let anyone tell you anything is wrong. Accurate is accurate, but what you like is most important. Gaming can look as cartoony, as realistic as you want it to. Feel free to go as wild as you want with the settings. Just find what you like, find what looks best to you as you're the one watching and playing it. You want to enable contrast enhancer, you want to enable live color, you want to enable reality creation. Now for me, reality creation I don't use much because I don't like any noise in the image. It does help when upscaling lower resolutions. I do like using black adjust. It gives things a little bit of a stronger outline. But always keep in mind, it's really what you prefer. Now you're going to see some lines going up and down. That's the frame rate versus the frame rate of my camera. But you can see how bright and clean it is. Now here we are jumping to the Miami map, which is at night. It is very vibrant. I love this map as far as the neon lights. And we're going to go back into default game mode and a part of this map to show you how much you can change the image yourself. Now, I apologize if you find my videos long. They will always be this way. I'm a discussion-based channel. I rather give you as much information as I can in one video than give you several 5-minute videos. That is a gorgeous image. Now it is a mid-range panel. You will have the X95J and the Z9J. But as far as its game mode, now I am going to show you exactly what that looks like with it. I want to just reiterate that Dolby Vision is off. I didn't know if I'd followed that up, so I went back in to show you guys. That's how you know you're in 4K 120. Now there'll be a scene here where I go into the pool, the motel. But it has very strong blacks. We'll bring up the settings again and also show you on all these different levels how the settings can change the image. Now in default game mode, local dimming is typically on medium. It's on expert 2. What I have noticed with the Sony though is between neutral and cool, it seems like the image is much brighter. Going into color here, and in HDR at times live color doesn't make a huge difference. Sometimes it does. But definitely loving the flexibility of Sony's image. That's how their older panels were. There were more settings to change. And again, if you do like reality creation and you do like advanced contrast enhancer, bump those things up. Make the image look how you want it to look. but I'm very impressed with the game mode. Now, I'm less impressed with how the X90J is handling non-4K 120, but I haven't had a chance to really play many of those games. But at 4K 120, without variable refresh rate, without auto low latency, it is very quick. And the way I can benchmark that for myself is if you took my LG away from me and told me I had to use this for multiplayer, I would be totally fine with it. Now, there's a lot of negativity surrounding the X95J, but please be as civilized as you possibly can be in the comments. We are a very positive, helpful community. And keep in mind that I also have this panel in front of me and am looking at it, and regardless of what you've heard or what you've read, I'm just giving you my thoughts on what I see right in front of me, using it every day. I love discussion. I love disagreeing. That's what community is all about, but it's all about friendship and being positive and helping one another. That is what I encourage, and I'd like it to stay that way. Thank you. Now, again, as I mentioned before, I will do separate videos where we do HDR. You'll see it in HDR. You'll also see 4K 60, so you'll see how quick the movement is. But really, this video was to illustrate what the settings do, how they change the image, and how beautiful the game mode is on this panel. We're setting it to default right here. You can see how much that image changes. Now, that could be more accurate, but it takes away some of the vibrancy. Series X is an excellent console. If my dialogue is choppy, it's because I have an insane kitten flying around my house. Now here we are through different levels. Now the reason for showing you the different maps is to show you the different colors, the different HDR levels. As the cat completely on cue actually knocks over my microphone. Cannot wait to have my studio back. Which is why you're hearing me whisper so much. The reflections are gorgeous. And again, I'm very pleased with the image. Now we will cover 4K gaming. We'll cover 1440p on PC. We'll cover standard definition as well. We'll cover every type of gaming there is. I can't show you movies due to copyright, but I'll say what I think is excellent about the panel is though blooming is present around bright objects, it doesn't halo around objects. It might light up a part of that screen briefly, but you won't see a halo around the object. That could be due to the lower zone count or simply the algorithm, as Sony is really all about retaining shadow detail. But as I mentioned before with the Samsung Q900R that I had in, the panel was very bright, but it would almost look like an IPS panel. It would knock down its own contrast. But the colors are excellent. Sony colors, very natural. Even when pushed with live color and making them vibrant, they still look natural. And I am surprised at how bright the panel is. Now I'm giving you real world analysis. I don't hook up machinery. I'm not a calibrator. I'm giving you my thoughts as I believe you would see them if you had the panel yourself. That is my cat flipping all over the place. Now here we are on the ship. And what I want to show you here is the skybox, and also show you the water underneath. You know, how blue it can be made, how it can look teal. So we bring up the settings again and show you how much we can make the image look artificial. I know this is redundant, but this does help many of you. Now you can also, with the tone mapping, you can favor gradation, you could favor brightness. I like giving you that option. There's also the black level. You can make the image darker. Now I tend not to do a lot of that, as I don't want to knock myself out of HDR. And I don't want to crush the blacks. But with this panel, it's really not needed. It never really looks washed out, as a lot of modern LEDs have started to look. It's not a mini LED, it is a regular LED. Now it's also a little expensive initially. It will drop in price. But so far I can tell you, for me, gaming on it, on a game that looks pretty good, isn't the best looking game in the world, that it runs really well. 4K 120 took a little bit to get working. It is working. We'll see how it handles the PS5 and PC. But I am very happy with it. Now, the Dolby Vision lacking with 4K 120 is a downer. But just the fact of life is, with Sony, anything you're choosing with Sony, 4K 120 is new to them. You're going to have some bumps in the road, which is why LG is at this way of just plugging in and going. Everything works flawlessly. Well, not flawlessly. After a year it does, but having Halo not run at 4K 120 and also not really being able to show it. There's no setting. You have to go into the Xbox and switch it. So again, showing you the different game settings here. No, I know the video is redundant. I know you guys like to see some settings. We'll make sure we do movie settings and game settings for you. But I want to say thank you for being positive. Thank you for your friendship. And thank you for joining me today. And I will see you in the comments. Take care.